Well, in times like these, when everybody's talking about the Three-Eye Atlas, them alien baddies headed to planet Earth, you gotta take the matter in your own hands and you gotta stop rolling those fat doobies tonight, mister. Let's get to it. You don't have to like or subscribe, unless you want to, of course. But shout out to Danny Jones. We got different kind of bull squash. Roll it.
The 60s Japanese airline flight, it's in
1986.
86, is that when it was?
Yeah.
And I think it was a cargo plane flying through Alaska. And they said that these, first of all, he said there was these two little lights that like came up and were darting around in front of them. And, like,
yeah, they were little rectangular lights, and they were like scanning like this, but shining the light beam into the cockpit, and it was hot and scaring the pilots. I mean,
and the pilot just said that he reached into his briefcase to pull a camera out to take a photo of them. And
Mom, get the camera right now! Get the camera, Mom! No, honestly, like, nowadays people are like, hey, man, another UFO, how cute, right? Yeah, Mom, get the camera. Let me record that real quick, right? Let me record them twats and put it on the internet. But yeah, I wonder back in the days, like, people would be horrified because you know, the concept was kind of new, right? You wouldn't see UFOs that much or that often. Now we got the internet, so I mean, everybody's aware, but yeah,
it just vanished. And then a couple minutes later, this mothership shows up. That's like the size.
It's
the size of like a football stadium or something.
It was it's the shape of a walnut. It's about 1,000 feet diameter.
He drew an amazing. He drew an amazing illustration, Steve, of how big it was. He drew a picture of the plane that he was flying compared to the size of the craft.
Right.
Which is, you could probably find it on this Wikipedia article, or if you type in the guy's name, the pilot's name, and the Japanese Airlines cargo flight.
Kenji Tarachi.
It is insanely big.
Kenji.
Okay, it's this little sketch on the top, I think.
Yeah. Let's find out.
Those are the two rectangular things,
it.
And then he's another sketch.
It looks like a napkin sketch. You'll know when you see it.
You cannot, brother.
But yeah.
All right, stop teasing. Oi, stop teasing. Put it on.
That's something, especially in the 80s, like something that big is like, I don't know. I don't know if that could be military.
I mean, let's be real. Like, okay, 1,000 feet UFO showing up near a plane, a pilot seeing it. Yeah, you would be scared, even today, right? But yeah, back in the days, yeah, for sure. Like, you didn't know, right? Like, who was flying? Was it an alien baddie? Was it like a bimbo? Was it like a drunk alien pilot? You just didn't know, right? Like, were they gonna crash in your plane? It was always hard to find out. But nowadays, yeah, pilots be recording videos and they're like, yeah, no biggie, man. We see that shit like every day. Yeah, yeah, man. I don't care. I gotta pay taxes. I gotta, gas prices going up. Yeah, it's same kind of bull squash. We gotta, so I don't care, man. Yeah, at this point, guys, bring on the Aliens DLC, bro. Bring it on.
The amazing thing about this is that the radar data exists. And you can analyze the radar data.
From that incident.
From that incident. Mm-hmm. They have 45 minutes of radar data.
Shit.
A lot of it was confiscated by President Reagan's scientific team and the CIA and the FBI.
Really?
They all came up to confiscate it. But I'm blanking on his name. Oh,
yeah, that's it.
The craft.
That's it, Steve.
Yeah,
the big
it's a little bit low quality, but
I got an image of the guy too.
Oh, beautiful. Pull up the. Can you blow it up so we could show it to people?
Pause. Damn it, man! If we only had like cell phones back in those days.
Look at that. So
you see Callahan.
Look at that. That is insane.
Or smartphones. And before anybody tries to be smart and be like, yeah, well, actually, we had phones, but not the smartphones. Yeah, I'm talking about the smartphones with cameras.
That thing is like, that's like 100 times the size of the airplane.
Exactly.
You could fit 100 of those airplanes inside that thing.
And so, when people, are skeptical.
So, yeah, pay attention here, guys. This is the plane, and that's the size of the UFO, as you can see. Holy shit. So how high up was that? Yeah, that's a small-ass plane, and I mean, planes are huge.
Of this, I'm like, how wrong can this guy have been? Okay, so maybe he's off by the size by 20%.
Right.
For that to become a reasonable story,
right,
he would have to be off by so much.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, imagine that, right? Like, it was all just like, yeah, guys, just imagination, man. But now, if legit, well, I guess he's making a compelling argument. Okay, he might be wrong by 20% in terms of the size, but definitely cannot be 100%, right? Like.
Hey.
And he describes it as it moved in front of the plane. You couldn't see out of the cockpit. The craft was there. I mean, it's terrifying. And he was terrified in talking to the traffic control. And I would be too. I mean, that's terrifying.
How did the story get out, I wonder?
And
so you'd imagine they would
I don't remember exactly how it got out. It got out pretty quickly, and they weren't able to put the lid on it. Yeah, and then Callahan had to turn all the materials over to Reagan's scientific team, and then but he had kept copies for himself, stashed in a box under his desk, and he kept it under his desk for like 20 years. He worked. John Callahan, who was the FAA chief of accidents and investigations.
Okay. Yes.
And he kept.
That's the thing, man. Like, why can't we get answers? We demand answers. We demand answers. We demand answers. It's really just crime against humans, right? Like mankind in general, that they have been hiding shit like that for God knows how long. God knows how long. Yeah, I guess the masses became aware around like 1947-ish, right? But, you know, the very first case. But of course, it's not the very first case. Sightings were happening even before, but 1947 is when we heard that Roswell crash, right? The incident. And before that, it was like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nukes were dropped. And it's being said that ever since then, they started showing up a lot more. It's not that they never showed up. They showed up before, but they started to show up a lot more that time. And you're looking at the sun here and the UFO around it. Crazy. Real quick, though, before I forget, I got to shout out the homie Jean-Le-Francois and the homie Jaymez for the $2. He said that play the Undertaker bell, so that one for you. And shout out to the homie Dino for the $5 super thanks. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel the way you do. And appreciate you, Jaymez, for becoming a member on the channel, and the homie Slim Pickens. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. All right, let's get back to the content here. Boo, roll it.
That material for like 20 years, chief of accidents and investigations.
Okay, yes.
And he kept that material for like 20 years and then released it publicly.
20
so
years.
Daniel Kumpe, another physicist, he was a physicist at the Niels Bohr Institute.
They must have like way too much right now that they released 20 years old stuff, right? They gotta have way more crazier shit than what they saw back 20 years ago.
He has a book called Anomaly where he actually analyzed that. In my paper, I analyzed the basic description of what was going on, just to get an idea of how fast this thing was moving. But Daniel Kumpe actually worked through the radar data. And this thing made multiple jumps from location to location in the 111 or so second sweep of the radar.
Like the Lockheed.
And he estimates the acceleration to be on the order of 10,000 Gs.
10,000
with a top speed, so you get a top speed of about 250,000 miles an hour.
250,000.
That thing could get to the moon. At that speed, that thing could get to the moon in 52 minutes.
Hey man, like we need that tech, man. We would be like, New York City to Sydney, just like that, right? Man, it takes an entire day, bro. We need that right now. And if everything that we hear, probably not everything, but if most of what we hear is true, that they have this type of energy, this type of technology, man, the airplanes technology, or tech, the airplanes that we have today, they are completely obsolete. They are like dinosaur era in comparison, right? If what we hear is true, like the planes that we got today, dinosaur technology in comparison. 250,000 miles or kilometers per hour, he said, right? Dude, man, somebody give it a speeding ticket. By the way, I feel like this was the drone show, but okay, no.
How fast does our fastest jet plane go?
Our fastest fighter jet?
Fastest fighter jet,
fastest, I don't exactly know. I'm like,
what's like the fastest?
Probably not much. Probably 6,000 miles an hour.
6,000.
Probably faster.
Okay.
You're not going to get much faster than 10,000. 17,000 is orbital speed.
The F-22 Raptor goes to 1,400 miles per hour. Okay. Wow. So
and they can't accelerate more
200
than
times the speed of that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, we're cooked.
That's insane. And these things also have to like slow down. They have to stop. They stop on a dime. The accelerations are insane, yeah. And that energy has to go somewhere. Mm-hmm.
So where does that energy, that kinetic energy, first, where does the energy come from? It's coming from their engines. Okay, fine. You can just say that and maybe get away with it. But when it stops, where does the energy go?
Right.
That's a bigger question. You know, in a car you have brakes. The brakes heat up, right? But with this sort of thing, where does the energy go?
Yeah.
You've got a ton of kinetic energy to get rid of in fractions of a second. It's just no way to do it. There should be a huge explosion when it happens, and it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, we really don't understand what these things do at all, and it's not.
Yeah, right. Like just going 250,000 miles or kilometers, they said, per hour, and stopping. Like you're going eat, and just stopping like that. Oh, anybody that would be, and anybody sitting inside would, and the mirror, pow. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man, that's insane. Holy shit. He right, like the energy gotta go somewhere.
It's not that it's advanced technology. It is conceptually far beyond us. They're amazing, really.
Now, I want to just bring this up before we get to the next point, right? Nowadays, and again, this is not my opinion. I gotta just preface this by saying it. Not my opinion, and I'm not saying this is legit. I'm not saying this is false information, but this is something that we're now hearing a lot more. That, you know, that 2004 Tic Tac ship UFO apparently was made by Lockheed. Oh, shit! Lockheed Martin. So, 250,000 kilometers per hour. Can they achieve that speed? If so, holy shit. I don't think so, but yeah, right? And what are your thoughts on Tic Tac ship UFO was made by Lockheed? The only thing that I want to know, okay, if that is true, how did they make it? Did they make it from scratch on this planet? Or did they make it by reverse engineering the real aliens UFO tech? Right? Because that changes everything. Because if they made it from scratch, holy shit. If they made it from by reverse engineering the alien UFO technology, holy shit again. But okay, then it would be like, yeah, we're not alone. But I guess we're not alone, or maybe we are.
Do you think it's possible that any of this stuff could be
I don't believe that we're alone, but yeah.
Some like military stuff that we don't know about?
No, absolutely conceptually far beyond us. They're amazing, really.
Do you think it's possible that any of this stuff could be some like military stuff that we don't know about? No,
absolutely not.
Really?
For one good reason, and the reason's sitting on your shelf right over there. Richard Dolan's book on USOs. Richard Dolan has a new book on unidentified submerged objects.
Right.
These things have been observed by and recorded in ship's logs for over 150 years. You have reports from the 1800s of a disc coming out of the water, hovering next to the ship, and then shooting off into the clouds. That's been going on for 150 years.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't. And once you know that those cases exist, you can't just say it's got to be Russian or Chinese. That doesn't hold water anymore. It's silly.
And couple that up with, we've seen paintings from back in the days. When I say back in the days, like thousands of years ago, right? There have been paintings with objects flying in the sky. Like people made that, and you gotta understand that back then we didn't have phones, right? Like people did rely on I guess what they were seeing in paintings. So we've got a lot of paintings with objects, just wacky looking objects flying in the sky that look literally like UFOs, modern day UFOs, and at times they look even crazier than that. So yeah, the UFO phenomenon has been here for thousands of years, right? Now more so than ever, with AI videos on the rise, it's just adding more bull squash to the entire fuel system. Or yeah, so people doubt it, understandably and rightfully so. Even I doubt a lot of footage that I see. So thanks to AI, thanks to CGI, thanks to you know, some people want attention and want to fake shit. So yeah, thanks to all that. But to a certain degree, if you're gonna have like 100 UFO videos out there, chances are high that at least 10 of them are gonna be legit. Or at least, okay, extrapolate that further, at least one of those videos are gonna be real, right? Now the question is, Lockheed or not? But 150 years ago, definitely not Lockheed. Now, perhaps. But if that's the case, likely reverse engineering of the real UFO alien tech, right?
Yeah, but don't you think it's possible that we could have got our hands on some of that stuff and like recreated it ourselves?
So some of the modern day things could be
right, exactly.
Modern secret military technology. That's true. But the cases from the 1800s, certainly you can't.
That you can't explain away with technology.
And so,
right.
so you can't, you don't get rid of the extraterrestrial or non-human hypothesis by just looking at the military technology argument today.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
150-year-old cases, you got to give that up.
The 150-year-old cases are interesting, though, because you have, like, writings that have been copied from, like, you know, some guy on the deck of a ship in the middle of the ocean, probably, you know, half smashed on a bottle of rum.
Right.
Explaining these things. It was like a sun that emerged from the depths, and it was the size of the whatever. It was, you know,
the size of 3 moons.
The size of 3 moons, right? So it's like it's very difficult to understand and parse and corroborate that stuff.
It is, but those descriptions aren't any different than modern day descriptions, and that's what's really compelling about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, scratch that nose, bro. Scratch that nose. But now, how do you explain that, right? Okay, if you're like a skeptic, and you need skeptics. You need people that believe it, and you also need skeptics for a healthy discussion. This is the way we can get to the real conclusion, because the skeptics, believe it or not, they also wanna know the truth to a certain degree, unless you're like a 200% skeptic and you just got tunnel vision, then you're probably not gonna believe the other side, right? And same is true even for a believer, right? If you're a believer and you're 200% tunnel vision that it's aliens, it's UFOs, you know, nothing other than that could be true, then you're also like yeah, right, then you're kind of far gone, right? Then maybe you won't be, we cannot then reason. So you definitely need somebody in the middle, and you definitely need both sides, so we can have like healthy discussion and find out. Because personally, I believe that mathematically speaking, we just cannot be alone, right? Billions of galaxies, billions of planets within each galaxies. Mathematically, we cannot be alone. UFO phenomenon has been around for ages, for centuries. Nowadays, you got Lockheed, right? Technology has been advancing, so military can definitely make shit up, and they have been making shit up for decades, right? If not century, maybe not a century, but okay, they have been trying. Okay, they've been trying, but nothing like what we have in mind, right? Like the UFOs that do 250,000 kilometers per hour. That's batshit crazy, okay? But hundreds of years ago, cases that were filed or talked about hundreds of years ago, like 150 years ago, people didn't necessarily lie that much back in the days, right? Nowadays it's a different story, but yeah, back in the days you didn't have too big of an incentive to lie. Yeah, people would look at you different. They would look at you like, hey, you loco, you cuckoo in the head, right? Nowadays it's cool to talk about it. Nowadays it's accepted, but back then it was not accepted. So if you were coming out and saying that, hey man, I saw aliens, I saw UFOs, I don't know what they were, yeah, people would be like, okay, mental hospital, take that guy to the mental hospital. Yeah, but nowadays people, we believe it, or generally speaking, most people believe it, and people don't necessarily get ridiculed, which is good, like, you know, open discussion, which is definitely healthy. But how do you explain shit like that 150 years ago? You just can't, right? Nowadays, okay, perhaps Lockheed is making it, but then the question would be, are they making it from scratch on home planet, or are they reverse engineering the UFO crafts and shit like that?
Especially shit like this. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, that case is really pretty fantastic, and 10,000 Gs is amazing. At 10,000 Gs, at 1,000 G acceleration, you can get up to 90% the speed of light in about 17 hours. Because relativity kicks in. So at a 1,000 G acceleration, which we can't imagine doing either, most of, you know, an airplane F-22's wings will rip off at about 13 Gs. Right. And most missiles can't, their frame can't even withstand more than about 60 Gs. So 1,000 Gs is well beyond us. But at 1,000 Gs, you can get up to, in 17 hours, you're going 90% the speed of light. 90%. That's relativistic speed, so relativity kicks in, time goes slower, and all that kind of stuff happens. And so going to stars within 50 light years literally becomes a day trip for the traveler.
Dang.
Wow.
Holy
Because
shit.
time's going slower on their ship because they're going so fast.
Because of
right?
time dilation.
Because of time dilation. For us, it's going to take 50 years for them to get there and 50 years to come back, but not for the traveler.
Interesting.
And so the fact
could you imagine
that these things have been observed, suggests that maybe that's possible. Maybe you can pull that off.
And then that begs the question, right? Do they come from different like stars? Perhaps. Are they interdimensional? Maybe. Or maybe it's maybe some of them are. Or do they come from underground? Perhaps that as well. Because, right, we've got different conspiracies and theories that some of them come from space, like different planets. Some of them come from, like, underground, like they happen here, right? And some of them are interdimensional. Some people believe there are demons and all that. And yeah, like, if that's your belief, that's your belief. Or perhaps it's like a little bit of everything. Perhaps some of them do come from space, right? That reminds me of Bob Lazar case, right? He's considered to be one of the most trustworthy whistleblowers of all time. Claimed to have worked at S4 Area 51, and he did claim to have read a file while he was working on UFOs and shit like that. He claimed to have seen a document that said that one of the UFOs actually came from Zeta Reticuli star system, right? You must have heard that as well. So yeah, from space. So a UFO came from space, like here. Yeah, man, maybe one day we'll have the answers, but that day is definitely not today. Did you see this video though? If not, check it out, because the stuff that is coming out, man, it's really is insane. And yeah, check it out and I'll see you there.